morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Premarket Info.
Our Tigers suck. We'll get to that in a second. But what we have moving in the market is Sprint. There's rumors that Japan's SoftBank may take a $12.8 billion stake in the company. The S&P continues to find support in the mid 1425s. I've got a typo on there. It says 1225, but that means 1425. I'm pulling a Joel with a typo on the handle. Apple continued strength, and JP Morgan and Wells Fargo report tomorrow. Sprint is popping here, but first I just want to complain and bitch about the Tigers here, Joel. It's been the same thing all year. The bullpen has killed us. Valverde has a 2-run lead in the bottom of the ninth, and quickly 4 hits and the game is over the other way.
Yeah, I mean, I stayed up for that one. It killed me to watch that happen. But hey, we got JV on the mound. The best pitcher in baseball is going to pull it out for us. Tigers are going to win 5-1.
He better throw a complete game because the bullpen will blow it for him. If they get a 4-run lead in the bottom of the ninth, Valverde will blow it again. So I have no faith in the Tiger bullpen. We need JV to throw a complete game here. Okay, now that I'm all wound up and all upset about last night, Sprint is popping here this morning, up significantly, $5.76 on 33 million shares. That's not a typo. It's traded 33
It was
million.
just traded 14 million.
34 million now. This is absolutely insane, the volume on this thing. The rumor is that Japan's SoftBank may take a $12.8 billion stake in the company. That's like a 70% stake in the company. So that is why Sprint is popping here too, and actually, interesting enough, right up against its 52-week high of 576.
Well, things really got out of control in the pre-market. This thing popped to 680.
It got to 680?
Yep,
is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I got it trading there at 640 this morning. Popped up to 680.
I only have 6 on mine. I'm wondering if that was just like a odd lot thing or something, because on my stats it shows $6. Even.
Really?
Yeah, I'm showing 6, so we got conflicting. Either way, 6 is overdone too, but I think 579 is overdone, but it's trying to prove me wrong. The thing keeps climbing here.
Let's look at support in this since we can't really decide on the resistance here. Since having that pop, finding a lot of support here at the 555 area, 547 as well. If you're trading it from the long side, keep an eye on the 550 area. If it breaks below there, who knows? Could come back down into yesterday's range, which was 513. Looking at long-term, $6 is going to be a big level. You probably can't see any size in the book in that, huh?
I don't see anything, no. The book is just thicked right up. You only usually see 15 levels, so I can't see anything in the book. But I don't even think size matters on this thing when it's trading 36 million shares. Size is meaningless.
Yeah.
This is blowing through every level right now. It's went up 15 cents since we started the show a minute ago here. So it's going to try to trade $6 here in the next second, I think. 598 now. Absolutely crazy action in Sprint.
That's some volume, so you can't ignore it. Yep,
I don't think I've ever seen volume like that. 37 million. Not in the pre-market. That's an absolutely insane volume.
What, are they taking that stake right now at the market?
I think so. I think they just sent a market order and they're buying it all right now in the open market.
Just final note, back in June of 2011, this stock hit 645, so let's keep an eye on that level.
PCS is selling off a little bit here today. Did get a downgrade from Oppenheimer, but I also think that they thought, the market thought that they might get a competing bid maybe from Sprint. Obviously, Sprint's getting, for the most part, acquired by another company. They're probably not going to bid for PCS, so I think that's why PCS is trading back down again at $11.60. So PCS looking weak, as Sprint is looking strong.
Yeah, by that PCS chart, it kind of looks like electrocardiogram there.
It does.
Yeah, I think I'd stay away from that one. Coming down, looking at the pre-market dip here, hit 11 and a quarter. You gotta love this $11 level. 1096 was a low 5 days ago, so 1103 was a low yesterday. Didn't quite get there in the pre-market, but $11 is huge in this stock. I see major support at that level, and resistance. Looking at yesterday's range, you had the close there at 12.04, so that's going to be your mark. Some people trying to get out at the market, $12.
Overall market continues to hold this 1425 area. We
Yeah.
actually did break down pre-market or after hours last night. Got down to 1421, but we didn't get down there in the regular session. So I'm still going to call that whole 1424, 1425 area major support. Market bouncing off there again, but interesting enough on CNBC this morning they were saying, well, the earnings, considering it's Chevron and maybe the earnings aren't going to be as good as we're used to. Well, I don't think the earnings were any good last quarter, so I don't know what CNBC is talking about. The earnings have been good. The earnings were garbage last quarter. Now it's just kind of, but the market continued to go up on those garbage earnings. Like, look at the chart of CVX from yesterday. They warned, and the stock absolutely got lamb-basted, though.
Yeah, I was watching the Exxon Mobil, and we had talked about that in the pre-market. That fell, but not nearly as hard. Looking, Chevron is getting a little bit of a bounce today. You have a high in the pre-market here at 113.39. Also, some trades at 113.50 went off last night after the close. This is going to be a tricky one over the next few days because first of all, you're quite a ways away from yesterday's high, which was 15.05, and then you get into a gap area too. So a lot of room on the upside here. Perhaps we can get a little bit of a double or triple bottom to base some trades off. But right now, this thing's in a vacuum. ExxonMobil is getting a nice pop this morning too. I mean, it sold off, but it was like they were hitting bids. I mean, it just wasn't a vacuum like it was in the CVX.
Yeah, they were hitting the bids, and you're right. There was a little bit, a few more participants willing to bid for a stock like ExxonMobil. I was surprised how well ExxonMobil held up right off the hop. It opened barely down, so if your traders were playing the pairs there, they probably could have had a good short off because ExxonMobil only opened down 15 cents and then proceeded to fall another $1.50. So I wish I was short the thing. I wish I would have held a little bit longer. But again, you can always laugh at me. I'm scalped too much, and I try to get out too quickly. I made a quick 20 cents and got out of it. Should have held because there was over $1 on the table there that I left. But definitely ExxonMobil looking a little bit stronger than Chevron. But if it gets back up, you got to think it's back up that 92, 92.5 area. I got to think there's going to be some sellers.
Yep, and just kind of going back to your overall market theme here, we did make a low at 14.25 yesterday. Dip below that in the pre-market, actually got to our September 12th low. Getting a nice bounce now, up 5 points. Really not a lot of resistance here until back up to getting to yesterday's high, which was 1437.75. Coming back on the downside, if you want to try and buy it on the cheap, I'd like to try and see a pullback to the close at 26.25, but I don't know if we're going to get there. One thing I did notice too is when the S&P spiked near the end of the day and made that low, a lot of the stocks just were so far off their low of the day. It was kind of just like one big sell order in the S&Ps. So looks like we found a bottom again.
Yeah, we're trying to anyways in that 1420 area, and Apple seems to have found a bottom too. We talked about it yesterday that it likes to make V bottoms. It pulled back a little bit, but then started to climb again yesterday, climbing again here this morning. So Apple looking pretty good here. This is a trendy stock. Once it starts going in one direction, it can continue that trend. And obviously we had 3-4 days of selling pressure. Now we've had a couple days of up pressure. Wouldn't surprise me here, especially ahead of that iPad mini possible announcement coming in the next few days, if this stock went up and retested the old neckline, which was around 650 to 655.
Yeah, hit 645.60 in the pre-market. Currently nestled under Wednesday's high at 644.86. So that is going to be an important level. Going above that, Monday's high was 647.46 and 647.56, and then you have a gap up to Friday's low at 651.28. So there is some room on the upside for Apple.
Looking at a couple movers there from yesterday, one that is continuing to move up here on an upgraded day, FedEx. They're getting upgraded at Standpoint Research, but what a day FedEx had yesterday. Obviously, they announced their cost cutting over the next 3 years, looking to save I think they said 1.7 billion, if I'm correct there. Was that the number from yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
anyway, so they're looking to do that through cost cutting action. Stock popped significantly on there, got through 90 like nothing, went up to 90.93, is continuing to move up here this morning. It's up at 91.48 after closing at 89.99. I got to think it might test that highs that we set back in July there at 92.50 and 92.53.
Yeah, I think we got this one wrong yesterday. We kind of were poo-pooing the whole, or at least I did, with the old cost-cutting measures they were taking. Looking at the chart, man, this 91 was a huge level, had several tops there. We've taken it out in the pre-market, but we haven't traded a lot of volume here. 91.49, 91.50 has been the high in the pre-market. I gotta believe, this 91 is going to be a key swing level. If you come back down there, you certainly have to use it as support because yesterday's high was 90.93. Below 91, I think you'd have to kind of cut loose on the longs here and let it get back into yesterday's range.
I think it could continue to run for a bit, but I think you're going to see a reversal day similar to what you've seen in Lilly, because Lilly had that heck of a run. All of a sudden, it followed through there, or 2 days ago, got up to 53.55, which is absolutely ridiculous, and then turned around and was weak and then started selling off. I think FedEx could do a similar thing up near this 92 area, call 92 to 92 and a half. If it gets another 50 cents up there, I think you could eventually see a reversal in this, though.
Yeah, just going back to the Lilly, just for the traders that were looking at that the last couple days. It closed on Tuesday at 51.81 and just couldn't even really hold that level. Only got 6 cents above it, 51.87 before selling off. 50.08 was the low. You take out that 50.08 here, and boy, you got a lot of room in this thing down at least to $48, but that'd be another. Don't want to call too big of moves in Lilly. I've already done that once this week.
I mean, it's already sold off $3.50 here. I tend to take the other side. I think eventually it's going to find some support here, and often what you'll see a stock do is has a huge run up, pulls back. It's around the 50% retracement from the original where it started its run now. I can't see it giving all this back because it was more on fundamental news that they think that drug might have some hope anyways to get to market. So I don't think it's going to give it all back here, but obviously you want to be cognizant if it starts to sell off, don't fight the tape either. But I do think that the stock will eventually find some support and maybe start drifting higher again. Walmart, Joel, that had a crazy move yesterday too. They were talking about opening new stores. It got all the way up to make a new, is that all-time high, Walmart? 76.81. Yeah, new all-time high, 76.81. Incredible move for Walmart.
Yeah, I think they're opening up a bunch new stores. I think they call them neighborhood stores. So I don't know if they're going to be actually smaller than the current footprint that they have. This stock has just been on a tear. I can't even try and pick a top in it. 76.81 was yesterday high. That's the all-time high. Probably some size here at 67. Currently trading 77. Currently trading up slightly in the pre-market, kind of spotty trades. I keep an eye on the close there, 75.42. If you come back down through that area, there is some pretty good air in that stock. Won't quite get to yesterday's low, 73.63, but Walmart, man, it's just unbelievable run. Too bad they didn't have bribery scandals in more than just Mexico. You just think if they would have had it like 3 different countries, the stock would be at 100.
That was the bottom right then, so either way. JP Morgan, 41.77 is where it closed, trading at 42. They do report earnings tomorrow, which is going to be on the radar along with Wells Fargo here. Obviously, the high of the move's been 42.44, so we'll keep an eye on that number today. Sometimes these banks can get some strength up into before the earnings report.
It looks like someone's trying to distribute some stock here at 42. They've lowered their sights from the 42.44 level. I've had 3 highs between 41.84 and 42. That's going to be a big level. I think you're going to run into coming up ahead in the earnings, I think you're going to run into problems all the way between 42 and 42.44. Getting a nice formation too on the downside. You have a double bottom here at 41.30 and 41.33, so that should be some excellent support here. But this thing is really, I mean, it's had its nice run. It's filled the gap from the whale trade, and now it's just kind of really needs to get above 42 for another leg up.
One more, we'll talk about Wells Fargo again. I know we mentioned it yesterday. Kind of had a quiet trading day yesterday. Really didn't do a heck of a lot here. Just hung out between 35 and 35 and a quarter. Might do the same thing again here today. Obviously, it's getting some resistance in this 35 and a quarter area. What's your take on Wells?
Made a double bottom there. 34.97 was the low on Tuesday, and got to 35 yesterday. Trading above yesterday's high a little bit, so we'll use that 35.37 as minor support. It'd be nice if it came back down to the close 35.23. I think I'd be careful being short this one because I really see a gap back up to the $36 level. You had a double top from Tuesday and Wednesday at 35.94 and 35.95, so that's going to be the major resistance. Since we're talking about the banks here, and I noticed this yesterday, Goldman Sachs just refused to go down. It was like it wasn't even part of the S&P 500. Have a great formation here. Double bottom here at 119.02, 119.06. Ways away from there now, but that's going to be major support. And resistance is spotty. 120 and a quarter was yesterday's high, but you have to keep an eye on the high of the move at 121.40.
Yeah, and the banks overall are looking a bit stronger here this morning in the pre-market. I wonder if this rally today is going to be led by the banks. Some of your European banks are stronger, which can sometimes predict that our banks will be strong, especially when Wells and JP Morgan reporting tomorrow. Makes me think that we might have a little bit of strength moving into those numbers tomorrow. So Goldman Sachs looking pretty good on the chart. I'd agree with you there, Joel. Just overall market thoughts before we close here. We have bounced 5.5 points. We're back in the 1430s. Do we retest the 1425 area here today?
Sure doesn't feel like it. I don't know if there's any economic reports are coming out. These are the kind of days where they get a start. There was obviously some good buying yesterday going on in the 1420 handle. Just that quick low overnight at 1421 and a quarter. But you have to put a lot of credence here to that close at 1426 and a quarter, and I really don't see any major resistance up until Wednesday's high at 1437.75. And also, this is the area that we were hanging out in when Big Bad Ben released QE3, and we took off north. So we're definitely a little poised for a rally here this morning.
Well, that's our show for today. Everybody have a great trading day, and we'll be back with you guys tomorrow.